Did you know that in 2023, Canada saw the highest number of immigrants leaving the country in over a decade? Asterisk, asterisk, yes, you heard that right. While the world has long viewed Canada as a land of opportunity, something has changed. More and more immigrants who once believed they'd found their dream home are packing up and heading elsewhere. But why? For years, Canada has been one of the top destinations for people seeking better lives, offering free healthcare, and a reputation for being welcoming. But now, the very things that once drew immigrants here seem to be pushing them away. In fact, new data shows that a growing number of immigrants are choosing to leave Canada for good. So, what's causing this shift? Is it the soaring cost of living? The struggle to find meaningful work? Or maybe Canada is just no longer the promised land it once was? This is a shocking trend that has experts scratching their heads. Today, we're diving deep into why so many are leaving and what it means for Canada's future. By the end of this video, you'll understand the surprising truth behind this mass departure and why it could change the way you think about immigration in Canada. Stick around, because what you're about to hear may just change your perspective on the country we thought we knew. 1. Canada's global reputation versus reality. For decades, Canada has been the poster child of the land of opportunity. It has consistently ranked at the top of global lists as one of the best places to live, work, and raise a family, known for its friendly people, universal health care, and high standard of living. It's no wonder so many people from around the world have made the decision to start over here. Immigrants have flocked to Canada from every corner of the globe seeking better prospects, safety, and a fresh start. After all, who wouldn't want to call a country that's often praised for its tolerance and inclusivity home? But what happens when the dream doesn't quite match up to reality? That's exactly what many immigrants are finding out now. In recent years, there's been an undeniable shift in how Canada is perceived by those who moved here with high hopes, while the country still holds a lot of promise. The reality of life in Canada, for newcomers, has been less than ideal for many. Let's pause for a moment and consider the expectations many immigrants have when they first arrive in Canada. With its well-regarded healthcare system, diverse population, and reputation for safety and opportunity, it's easy to understand why so many people make the leap to move here. But once they arrive, they quickly realize that things aren't as simple as they had imagined. The cost of living in major cities like Toronto and Vancouver has skyrocketed in recent years, making it nearly impossible for newcomers to find affordable housing. According to the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, housing prices in these cities have more than doubled in the past decade, forcing many immigrants into cramped apartments or even temporary shelters. It's not just housing. The cost of living, overall grocery bills, utilities, and public transportation has increased dramatically for immigrants who may not yet be fully employed or who are working jobs below their qualifications. These rising costs create a financial strain that's hard to bear. Many immigrants come with the hope of landing a job in their field, only to find that their qualifications aren't recognized, or that they are underemployed in low-wage jobs. This frustration can be compounded by the reality of navigating Canada's complex immigration system, which is often slow and bureaucratic. The dream of a high-paying job or a career that reflects their skills feels far out of reach. leaving many wondering if they made the right choice. 2. The key challenges immigrants face. When immigrants first arrive in Canada, they are often filled with hope and excitement. After all, they've chosen a country with a strong economy, a reputation for kindness, and the promise of a better life. However, they soon realize that the road to building a new life in Canada is filled with challenges they weren't prepared for. These challenges range from economic hurdles to social isolation, and they can have a significant impact on immigrants' decisions to stay or leave. Let's start with the most immediate concern: the cost of living in cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal. Over the past decade, the cost of housing has skyrocketed. According to a 2023 report from the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, the average price of a home in Canada has more than doubled in the last 10 years, making homeownership nearly impossible for many newcomers. For immigrants who have just arrived and are still finding their footing, this puts a significant strain on their financial situation. With limited savings and often working in entry jobs or positions that don't fully recognize their skills, the dream of owning a home or even securing affordable rental housing can feel like a distant fantasy. But it's not just about housing. The overall cost of living in major Canadian cities is high. Grocery prices are increasing. Transportation costs are climbing. And healthcare, though publicly funded, comes with its own set of challenges. Immigrants, particularly those who aren't yet eligible for provincial health coverage, or who are waiting for their permanent residency status, may find themselves facing long wait times for medical care, even for those who do have access. The healthcare system is overwhelmed, making it difficult to get timely appointments or specialized care. Beyond the financial challenges, many immigrants struggle with finding meaningful employment. While Canada has a robust job market, immigrants often find themselves underemployed in jobs that don't match their qualifications. Despite Canada's progressive policies, many foreign credentials and work experience aren't recognized, leaving newcomers working in low-wage positions that don't reflect their skills or expertise. This frustration can be demoralizing, especially when immigrants arrive with the hope of advancing their careers in a new country. The gap between expectations and reality can lead to feelings of disillusionment and disappointment. Social integration is another major hurdle. Canada prides itself on being a multicultural society, but the reality for many immigrants is that it can be tough to feel truly at home. Language barriers can be a significant issue. While English and French are official languages, accents, dialects, and cultural differences can still create a sense of separation. Even for those who speak these languages fluently, the feeling of being an outsider can linger. In larger cities, where people are often focused on their own busy lives, making meaningful connections can feel like an uphill battle. The loneliness and isolation that some immigrants experience can be overwhelming. 3. Immigrants' perspective. Why they leave? The decision to leave a country is never easy, especially when that country is one you moved with so much hope and anticipation. Yet for an increasing number of immigrants, leaving Canada has become their reality. The reasons behind this exodus are multifaceted and reflect a deeper disconnect between the idealized version of Canada and the lived experiences of many newcomers. One of the primary factors driving immigrants to leave is the economic reality they face upon arrival. When many immigrants first move to Canada, they are drawn by the promise of better job opportunities, higher wages, and an improved quality of life. However, the gap between expectation and reality can be striking. Despite being highly skilled and educated, many immigrants find themselves stuck in low-paying or low-status jobs that don't match their qualifications. In some cases, they're forced to work multiple jobs just to make ends meet. For example, a doctor from India might end up working as a cashier, or a software engineer from the Philippines might be employed in retail or food service. This underemployment is not only frustrating, but also financially unsustainable for many, especially in cities where the cost of living is incredibly high. The lack of recognition for foreign credentials also plays a significant role in pushing immigrants out of Canada. Even though many newcomers arrive with degrees, certifications, or years of experience in their home countries, these qualifications often don't hold the same value in Canada. In some fields, immigrants are required to go through lengthy recertification processes or to take additional courses just to practice their profession, which can take years. This delay in entering the workforce or advancing in one's career can be demoralizing, especially for those who have already spent years building their careers in their home countries. But it's not just about money. Social integration is another key reason why some immigrants choose to leave. While Canada is often touted as a multicultural nation, many immigrants still face barriers when it comes to truly feeling like they belong. The cultural differences that they initially embraced can start to feel like obstacles. The language barrier is a common issue, but it's more than just speaking English or French. It's about being able to participate fully in society and feeling like you're part of the community. For some immigrants, the isolation they experience due to language, cultural differences, or unfamiliarity with local social norms can lead to a deep sense of disconnection. For others, the reality of racism and discrimination can make them feel unwelcome, even in a country that prides itself on being diverse and inclusive. For the broader impact on Canada's future, as more immigrants make the difficult decision to leave Canada, the country is facing a critical challenge that could reshape its future for decades. Canada has relied heavily on immigration to fuel its economy, sustain its social services, and ensure its demographic stability. Immigrants have not only contributed to the labor market, but they've also enriched Canada's culture, introducing new ideas, foods, languages, and perspectives. The increasing departure of immigrants raises important questions about the long-term impact on the country's economic growth, social fabric, and global reputation. Economic consequences. One of the most immediate consequences of the trend of immigrants leaving is its potential impact on Canada's economy. Immigrants have long been a key driver of the country's workforce, filling gaps in various sectors from healthcare to technology, agriculture to construction. As more immigrants leave, Canada may face labor shortages in critical industries. This could lead to slower economic growth, higher costs for businesses, and greater strain on social services, which are already under pressure due to an aging population. Social and cultural ramifications. Culturally, Canada has long prided itself on being a beacon of diversity. Immigrants have shaped the country into what it is today, contributing to its vibrant multicultural society. However, as more immigrants leave, there's a risk that Canada will lose this cultural richness. The country's global reputation as a tolerant, welcoming society could also be tarnished. making it less appealing to future generations of potential immigrants. Point number 5. Canada's commitment to immigrant integration and the role it plays in retaining newcomers. Canada has long been known for its robust immigration system, which includes numerous programs aimed at welcoming newcomers. In fact, Canada's immigration policies are often lauded for their inclusivity and diversity. The Canadian government continues to invest in various integration programs that help immigrants navigate the challenges of settling into a new country. Initiatives such as language training, employment support, and community integration programs are designed to ease the transition into Canadian society. Statistics Canada's 2021 report shows that immigrants who participated in settlement services were more likely to remain in Canada and thrive economically and socially, highlighting the effectiveness of these programs. For many immigrants, the dream of successfully integrating into Canadian society is just as important as the promise of economic prosperity. People leave their home countries not only to find a better job or quality of life, but to build a new life where they feel accepted, valued, and part of a community. Immigrants yearn for a supportive environment where they can improve their lives, provide for their families, and build a future for themselves and their children. Canada's promise of integration, where newcomers can find their place in society, forms the foundation of that hope. Immigrants often desire to be more than just residents. They want to become active, contributing members of the Canadian fabric. So why is it important for Canada to focus on improving these integration programs? The reality is that successful integration significantly increases the chances of immigrants staying in Canada long term. When immigrants have access to language courses, cultural orientation, and job placement programs, they are more likely to secure stable employment, contribute to the economy, and develop a deeper sense of belonging. This not only benefits the individual, immigrants, but also enriches Canadian society as a whole. A more integrated immigrant population leads to a stronger economy, greater cultural diversity, and a more inclusive society. Furthermore, by improving these programs, Canada can better retain immigrants, ensuring that it continues to be a top destination for skilled workers and entrepreneurs from around the world. The more successful Canada is in helping immigrants navigate their new lives, the more likely they will remain and thrive.